So this month, our theme is One Journey, Many Paths. And the overall message this month is that we're all on this journey to discover our relationship with God and the universe itself, which we call love. But while we're all on the same journey, each of us will take this different path to get there. And some of us travel quickly, and others of us go more slowly. But our philosophy teaches us that all of us will indeed reach the destination, even if it takes many lifetimes. So how do we know our path? How do we know that we're making progress toward finding our true relationship with the divine? And I believe the answer is that we know we're on the right path when we're living fully as our passionate and loving selves. So I want to talk about that some more because of my talk title today is A Love and Passion for Life. And since it's Valentine's Day, that day in the country where we all purposely focus on love, I thought it only fitting that my lesson also be about love. If I can talk about the Super Bowl on Super Bowl Sunday, I certainly can talk about love on Valentine's Day, right? But, love in general, but specifically this holy and mystical love that we channel through our beings as a passion for life and everything that life brings. So most people who want to talk one-on-one with me are almost always interested in talking about having more love in their life. They might want to talk about finding the right and perfect partner to share the path with, yes. But they also may want to talk about discussing like how to figure out how to have more love for their job. Or they want to talk about wanting to feel more connected with God in their experience. Or they may desire a conversation about, removing something from their life that's blocking their love. So can you relate to any of that? Like you can relate to those questions, right? So this morning I want to share 3 points that I usually talk about with people one-on-one when I'm talking about wanting love in life. And the first point that I want to share is that love always says yes to life. It's always affirming this greater expression of life through you. So you have within you an inner yes. You know what that feels like, that kind of surge of positivity, that inner yes. And you have an inner no, this kind of contracting feeling that says no, and you back away. So if we're interested in walking a path to greater love, we use our inner yes as kind of like a guiding light. If we follow the divine yes within us, we'll be led to whatever is necessary to unfold our greater yet to be, but we have to pay attention. Because your heart's desire might first show up as something you're just curious about, something that kind of sparks your interest. You may just be like walking down the road, kind of ho-de-do-de-do, and you see something or someone that just lights you up and grabs your attention. And when that happens, and you all have had that experience, I know you have, your inner voice just pushes forward with this yes. You begin to feel an urge to know more about it. You keep, and if you keep walking, that thing that pulls you will stay on your mind. Or you're going to remember it later in the day, or maybe a week from then, or next month. You'll just think about it again. And you're going to feel that curiosity growing within you. And often every time you think about it, there's this surge of joy inside of you around that idea. Can everybody understand what I'm talking about? Yes, right? So the philosopher Desjardins wrote that joy is the infallible sign of the presence of God. The infallible sign, joy. So our inner invitation is to hone our skills at listening and paying attention to that inner nudge that we have toward new experiences and energy, because as Ernest Holmes says, love points the way. So if love is always pointing the way for us, let's wake up and let's look for its arrows. Joy and love, those are the signs that you're on the right track. And I want to share a tiny example of this. I don't often talk about my older brother, but his name is Richard. He lives in Portland, Oregon. And actually, it's his guitar that lives in our sanctuary. That's my brother's guitar, and his signature's on it. He signed it for me a few years ago. So anyway, Richard was diagnosed with MS many years ago. I'm thinking it's going on 20 years ago. And due to the progression of his illness, his life has kind of gotten smaller and smaller. His physical challenges have gotten bigger, and he has less ease kind of being out in the world. And he can no longer play the bass guitar in a band. He used to do that when that was his joy, because he can't quite remember things the way he used to. And he can't drive because of his lack of balance and vision that's required to drive. He used to work for Intel as a programmer, so he's super bright. And so he had to release his career due to his disabilities several years ago. So life has gotten very small for my older brother. But I know that my brother, Richard, obviously still listens to his inner yes as a call to love his life, no matter how diminished it may be. So most recently, he had just such an experience. Have any of you seen the Netflix show, The Queen's Gambit? Mm-hmm. It's great. If you haven't seen it, great. It's about this young girl who learns how to play chess. And she starts playing, as she grows older, she refines her skill, and she starts playing championships all over the world. And she often plays many games simultaneously. Like all the chess boards will be set up and she moves and makes her move in every board. And then she goes back around after the other person's made their move. So she's playing like, I don't know how many games all at one time. So, well anyway, Richard watched this movie episode thing. Series, that's what it's called. He watched this show in November, and he started asking everyone if they had seen it, including his Facebook audience, which includes me, right? And at his urge, most of us, lots of us have watched that Queen's Gambit, and I've watched it too. And it kind of brought me back to childhood, and I can understand why it was really interesting to my brother, because all of us kids were taught chess by our grandfather. And I really sucked at it. I actually did. I know how the pieces move, but I have no idea strategy, right? So Richard kept his love of chess within him, but he seldom played. I never remember him playing again. But something about this Netflix series nudged him, urged him inside about chess. And he followed his inner yes. He started playing online in November, on November 6th. And he has found great joy in the camaraderie of other chess players all over the world. And his post this past weekend read, "Finally, after 231 wins, 214 losses, and 23 draws, my score is now 1,209 to be exact. 1,200 is the basic beginner score. Yes, I am that bad at chess," he says, "but I am slightly better now, I guess." So if my math is right, he has played 468 games of chess since November. And one of his posts that he had 41 games going at one time. Okay? So chess is not my game. Chances are it's not yours either. But the point is, you will never know when your soul is going to fall in love with some tiny aspect of life that is yours. Or in his case, falls in love again with something he loved as a child. So here he was, almost a shut-in due to his illness, and his world has just opened up. And he's kind of exploded into passion over this game of chess. And I love seeing, I'm delighted by his communication on Facebook about it. There's just simply more passion in his life from chess, right? So Reverend Laine, did Richard find God in the game of chess because he found joy there? I believe yes. The divine is available in every moment as we experience joy and love. And all of us have an inner urge to fall in love with something that generates passion in our lives. So what will yours be? Ernest Holmes says this. He basically says it doesn't matter, because he says anything that will enable us to express greater life, greater happiness, greater power, so long as it does not harm anyone, must be the will of God for us. As much as life as one can conceive will become part of his experience. And he said the word anything, and that includes chess, right? And my brother is living that out, and good for him. Good for him. The second point I want to make today is this. Thank you, Ellen. The divine is always asking us to dance. I have no idea that's what she was talking about today. If we are willing to embrace our relationship with Spirit, to be truly open and receiving inspiration and guidance, if we're open to that, we can develop a deeper partnership with life itself, with the divine. The question is, will we dance with the divine when it asks? Will we allow Spirit to use our talents to expand our lives as we grow in this awareness and understanding of our relationship with it? Will we trust and relax enough to enjoy the dance, or are we going to struggle to maintain the lead, or even stand on the side of the gym and refuse the invitation to dance? So I think some of us refuse to dance with the divine for the same reasons Ellen illustrated in her reading why we would decline to take the dance at the prom, right? We're scared of what other people are going to think. We're nervous that we don't know how. We don't see ourselves as dancers. The last time we danced, things did not quite go exactly as I planned, or maybe we just don't want to be disappointed that the real dance won't be as good as the one we imagined. You know? But what would a good prom chaperone say to the reluctant teenager standing against the wall in the dark? It's what I want to say to you today. Just say yes. Who cares if you look awkward when you try? You'll get the hang of it. You're all dressed up anyway. Go ahead. Go have some fun. Everyone else feels nervous too. You can't learn to dance here in the dark. You've got to get out there and on the floor. Listen to the music and just move. And that's my point. If you have inspired ideas for your life, that is Spirit inviting you to dance toward those ideas. Who do you think started playing your song in the first place? If you can release the clutter of the old patterns that have kept you safe, that have kept you sitting in the dark, you can create the space for a reinvention of yourself and innovation in your life experiences. Step away from this wall of invisible safety and create room for living and thriving out on the floor. Passion is found in that swirling of energy, not in the stagnation of holding back in safety. And trust me, you want Spirit as your dance partner, as this infinite power of life itself. Joel Goldsmith wrote this: "In going within, we do not turn to our own spirituality or our own goodness or our own strength or our own knowledge, but we go within to unleash the infinite invisible." Yes, I want to unleash the infinite invisible as my life's dance partner. So speaking of dancing, I want to tell you another story. I want to talk about a famous dancer named Martha Graham. If you probably don't know her name. But she had a passion for dancing that was unstoppable. Okay, so she trained as a ballerina as a young girl when she was young. But you know the competitive world of ballet, they deemed her good enough to be a dance teacher, but not good enough to be a dancer on the stage. So as you can imagine, she thought her dream of being a professional dancer was over. But this inner spirit kept calling her to dance. So she was so inspired to keep dancing that she created an altogether different kind of dance. She chose to do this more modern dance that embodied the deepest of human emotions for her audience. In 1930, she performed this famous piece called Lamentation, and she danced the experience of grief. She didn't dance about grief. She embodied grief as a dancer. One of her audience members shared that after watching her 9-year-old son get killed by a car, she had not been able to express her grief until she saw grief honored by the dance of Martha Graham. Martha Graham is said to have had the ability to make visible the emotions people could feel inside themselves but couldn't put into words. Martha Graham accepted Spirit's invitation to dance as a young girl. And even when the whole world discouraged her, she kept dancing. And she unleashed the infinite invisible that Joel Goldsmith talked about when those obstacles were put in front of her. So did Martha find God in the joy and love of dancing? I believe she did. I believe she did. So how is Spirit inviting you to dance? Likely it isn't actual dancing. I'm looking at you. But something else that it wants to join in the movement of your life on your behalf. Just take the floor. And my final point today is wake up. Wake up. You are divine now. Your uniqueness, your gifts, your dreams, they're all waiting for you to accept your power. Stop auditioning for your life. Start preparing for and living it now. Whatever awakens this passion inside of you, whatever love points out for you with your inner yes, however you want to dance, don't wait anymore. Do whatever it takes to step forward. If you need to study, then get out the books. If you need to practice, just set aside the time necessary to devote to practice. If you need more skills, find a mentor or a teacher and acquire the skills necessary to move forward. Guess what? You're going to have to grow. And there will be work involved as you unfold and change. But when you let God be God in you, you shine. You shine as that beloved creation that you are. And the whole universe is invested in your success. Joel Goldsmith also says, when you want your prayers answered, put into practice what you already know. Just start moving in the direction of your inspired ideas and do it now. So I'll tell you one of my own stories about this point. Back in 2010, I was in the middle of my practitioner studies like Ellen is right now, and toward the end of my corporate career, that's where I was in 2010. And what I really wanted to do full time, what I really, really wanted to do was what I was enjoying most about my career, and that was coaching, right? I just felt stuck in knowing how to get started with it. I just didn't know how to get started. And as Spirit would have it, there was an event at Unity North Atlanta Church. And Michael Bernard Beckwith was speaking. And I happened to have tickets. And he was speaking about his book about living a vision, living your vision. And anyway, after he spoke, he was doing a book signing, and I got in the line with everybody else with my book. I wanted him to sign it. And when he had my book in his hand, he stopped and he looked up. And somehow he opened this space for a small conversation with me. And I can't remember how it all went, but I found myself explaining to him that I wanted to coach people about their spiritual lives, and I was asking him for advice of some sort. And he said something to me like this. I don't have it perfect, but he said, Laine, if you want to be a coach, just start coaching. If you don't want to write, just start writing. Whatever you want to do, just start doing it right now. And that just struck me deeply because it matched what Joel Goldsmith said, which is put into practice what you already know. Put into practice what you already know. And so I noticed the spark within me to just deepen my spiritual walk, which I did, and I followed that inner yes into a dance with Spirit. I was doing deeper study, and all of a sudden, Michael Beckwith was saying, do it now, do it now. And so I did. In 2011, I launched my coaching practice, and I've never had a month since without clients. Never. I just did it. So did I find God in that moment when I stepped into spiritual coaching? Yes. Yes, I did. And every time I do that work, if you've been around me long and I've come out of a session, I just feel love and joy and passion for life, just what I'm talking about today. I come out just absolutely charged because I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. In his book, Creative Mind and Success, Holmes agreed, and he wrote this: we must become the thing we want. We must see it, think it, realize it before the creative power of mind can work it out for us. Now is the day. Now is the day to start loving your life and living it with a passion. Become the thing you want. Act as if you already are what you want to become. Because life requires your agreement and your participation. Spirit's not going to force you out on the dance floor and move your limbs for you. It's just not. And as I said last week, come out of the stands as a spectator and take the field. Begin today to ask yourself, what brings me joy? What gives me a passion for life and inspires that feeling of possibility inside of me? Find one thing you can do today that moves you closer to your love and your passion for life. Then do that one thing with love. Do it with intention. And do it with passion, because it will guide you to your next step, and then your next step, and your next step after that. Choose Spirit as your dance partner, and I hope you just dance. Please join me in all one sentence affirmation. With trust, joy, and delight, I allow myself to dance with Spirit through my life that I love with a passion. And so it is.